Hi there and welcome to another Views from the Valley, your weekly roundup of the news here in the United States, coming to you from v3.co.uk's offices in San Francisco. With me as ever, Shaun Nichols. Hi Shaun.
Hi Iain.
Right, okay, now we could dilly-dally about this, but let's face it, the story of the week so far has got to be Steve Jobs' head imploding. Sorry, the lost iPhone. Okay, you broke this for us. Let's see, what's the actual skinny on it?
Okay. From what we've gathered, a few weeks ago, Apple engineer was out drinking, phone fell out of his pocket, someone found it. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing was, this was actually an experimental version, or a test version, of the new iPhone, supposedly.
Okay.
The 4G, fourth generation, whatever you want to call it, iPhone.
Yeah, 4G, and we're starting to run into serious
but whatever they're going to call it, it's supposedly a test version of the new iPhone.
Indeed.
Somebody found it, and reportedly they asked Apple about it. They called Apple's customer care number, thing like that, and they said, well, we can't really help you. We don't really know. Whatever. So the person really didn't get too far with that. So at that point, they supposedly went to a gadget blog, Gizmodo.
And also Engadget, yes.
Engadget, yeah, and at least one other blog. And the person then offered to apparently sell it to them or give it to them. Turns out Gizmodo paid $5,000 for it. Kept it for a little while, and then when the photos started to surface, they ran their whole video, teardown of it, everything else. The most recent news was today, I believe Apple contacted Gizmodo, said...
That's right, they've handed it back.
Yeah, you have our phone, we want it back, and supposedly they gave it back to Apple now. So... aside from the fact that it's kind of fairly big news about the new iPhone, what's become bigger news now is that Blog paid somebody for a device that some people would say it's stolen, most people would say it's just lost and found. But it's kind of generating a lot of debate here as to...
Well, I know we've spent a good half hour going over this at lunchtime as to whether or not it's ethical behaviour. Personally, I don't believe in paying for stories. It's never been v3.co.uk's policy to pay for stories. Nor would we. Beyond buying someone a drink, but that hardly counts in my book. I think what's interesting, a number of things have made this interesting. First off, Apple's secrecy is legendary. Yeah. These people are, worse than Scientologists when it comes to, complete lockdown on information. In fact, the phone itself was a next generation built into an iPhone, into a 3GS case, which was a bit of a giveaway when the person actually found it. But looking ahead, in terms of what this is going to do for the Apple launch, we ran a story last week about a proposed launch in June. Do you think it's actually going to cause them to shift it forward, shift it back, or are they just going to blow it off?
I think it depends on how much attention this gets. Is this something that dies down in a day or two, which I think it will? They're probably just going to pretend it never happened. Steve Jobs might crack a little joke at the unveiling, that sort of thing. But it's been a long time since Apple was able to launch a product with this, absolute secrecy without a hitch. I think maybe the iPhone was the last one I remember that was being done without somebody coming in and getting a lot of the concrete details, or basically pegging the device in some form or another through a leak or through, having been given out to other testers, third parties, that sort of thing. It's not hard. I've been able to.
Common in the industry, certainly.
Most carriers, support providers, all those people can give you information about it before it launches, and a lot of them are as secret as Apple. So it's not like this is the first time news has come out or something like that.
It's embarrassing for the company, but I can't see it changing anything in the larger scale.
No, I think it's...
I'd amend that. For one Apple software engineer, it's amending things really quite significantly, but, it's...
Yeah, that poor guy, he's, if he's not already on his way out of Apple, he probably doesn't have a very bright future with the company.
No, he needs to...
And it may change that practice, and that Apple will be a whole lot more secretive about who gets the products to test, how they're tested, what they can do when they test them.
More secretive, yes.
I'm guessing that bars are now out of the question if you're beta testing an iPhone.
Which could see a knock-on in terms of iPhone performance, but we'll keep an eye on that. But you also had some more news, this time about the iPad.
Yep, Apple's calls today, as well as some recent comments from the company and some things that have come up on the website. The timeline for the iPad has officially been shifted back. Well, Apple will tell you that there was never a set timeline, so there's never really a time. But the fact of the matter is, they've shifted it back. anywhere from a couple of weeks to several weeks on some occasions. If you're in the U.S., if you already pre-ordered an iPad, and you pre-ordered the iPad a while back, you'll probably get it by April 30th, I believe, was the official.
Okay, so just before the May 4th, yeah.
Now, if you're looking to buy one right now or looking to order one right now, I believe it's for the 3G iPad, it's May 7th is when it's going to ship. Those of you in the UK, it's going to be a while.
Sorry, I mean, I don't even own one, but I think the American consumers really couldn't give a monkeys if anybody else from the rest of the world is a bit delayed with their iPad. But demand has been very strong here, so they're basically shipping to the customers they know they have rather than customers that they might have.
Exactly, and Apple basically said as much today in their earnings call. Basically said, look, we didn't know we were going to sell this many of them, and now, we're going to take care of the people that, are going to buy them right now before we ship them out to other countries. If you're in the UK, May 10th is going to be when they reveal pricing, and I believe it's when they're going to start taking pre-orders. I'm not certain.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to get drowned out with fanboys going for the first pre-order.
And late May is probably when you're going to be able to get the iPad. I'm not sure if it's just the Wi-Fi or if it's both Wi-Fi and 3G.
I think they're delaying the 3G one, but I mean, it's coming, but you're going to have to wait a while, basically. Now, in non-Apple news, of which there is some this week, Google today, for example, came up with a very nice way of taking the wind out of their critics' sails. They're facing a meeting today in Washington where privacy advocates are going to be telling them that they hold too much information, social networking systems like Buzz, far too intrusive, etc., etc. So Google kind of preempted this with the launch today of a new tool which lets you see exactly how many requests for information governments made of Google about their users. So this is both requests for information about individual users and also requests for data to be deleted. Now, surprisingly, the number one government for doing this was Brazil, but it's not that surprising when you think about it because Orkut, which Google owns, is huge in Brazil and nowhere else. But sure enough, when it came to asking about Google's users, the US was in second place and the UK was in third. Are you confident with Google has your back when it comes to your data?
Well, no. I mean, this whole tool just seems like Google is trying to dispel this myth that they're this omniscient data-gathering dystopian Big Brother machine by releasing a tool that shows you that they're an omniscient dystopian data-collecting Big Brother. So basically they're telling people what they were most afraid of, and that doesn't really... I'm not sure that's going to do much to allay people who are already worried that Google has too much data and is sharing it with the government.
I mean, this is it. It's very much a sort of mixed bag in that sense. Google does have an awful lot of information. It does collect a lot of information. And it uses it to generate profits. And occasionally it hands it over to government. So we've got to get used to that idea. If you don't like it, you don't use Google. But every other company seems to be doing pretty much the same thing.
I'm not that much more confident in Bing or...
No. I mean, it's like, could Microsoft be the white horse to Google's Black Knight? It's like, nope. No, the day Microsoft is a white horse is the day Satan goes to work on a snowplow, but still. Okay, now you mentioned we're just going to wrap up with a few results because it's financial results season. Now you mentioned the Apple results. Great stuff from them. Profits up 50%, I believe?
Profits way up. iPhone sales were up something like 131% over the same period last year. Mac sales, I believe, were 30-something, I want to say.
Yeah.
Pretty high rise in Mac sales as well as iPhone. Those were the two big ones.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is something that kind of gets lost, I think, with Apple, because you get so much attention for the iPhone,
the
iPod.
They're still chucking out the systems.
Well, the Mac is still the bread and butter for Apple. I mean, it has been. It still has got the best margins. It's where they've got an established market. And so the Macintosh is still a very, very big thing for Apple.
I can understand it. Shames me to admit it, but this morning over breakfast I was just like pounding away on my little netbook thinking I really got to get a proper computer, and then the thought came to my head, in a MacBook Pro could be the way to go. I mean, thankfully the tea kicked in then, and I was able to give myself a quick slap around the head. But I mean, good news for Apple. Less good for other sectors of the industry. I mean, Google's had pretty good results, good solid growth. IBM profits up 13%. Services flat, software doing very well. Yahoo was interesting. We just posted that one up today. They've tripled their profits, but their search revenue is falling down 14%. Now, they're making money in terms of display advertising, but, I mean, Yahoo going to be also run or a quick merge with Bing as the years go by?
I have a hard time seeing Yahoo make it much longer, honestly. Carol Bartz has come in and done some good stuff, but there are things that probably should have been done 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. She's actually worked some really good... I mean, she's cut operating costs by $76 million over the last year, which is a stunningly large amount. But yeah, in terms of their long-term future...
It reeks of AOL to me, honestly.
Since when? Sorry, it reeks of AOL just sounds like...
they've lost their business model. They're trying to, they're trying different things, trying to do all these different things, but really they're kind of on the decline, and, I may have horrible Michael Dell 1997 flashbacks here from Apple. But, I mean, honestly, the best thing I think they can do is sell.
Yeah, and I think you're right on that one. It's going to be the way it's going to go. Anyway, we shall keep an eye on these and other stories, and you can read about them on v3.co.uk, and we'll be back next week.